Joining us now is Alfredo Ortiz. He is the President CEO of Job Creators Network. The Trump administration has appointed Alfredo Ortiz to be one of the key people on their commission on the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative that was rolled out yesterday. I want to get his take on that. Alfredo, great to have you with us, man.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. And I have to tell you what an honor it is to be appointed, to be part of a group of Hispanic business leaders and Hispanic leaders overall on this White House Hispanic Prosperity Initiative. Couldn't be more excited and honored and proud, especially as you know my background. I mean, I was born here. I'm a proud American with Mexican heritage. My dad was a tailor. My mom was a housekeeper. We grew up poor, going through trash cans. My mom and I, picking out trash, getting aluminum cans and newspapers and getting those over to the YMCA. That was our grocery money for the week. And so to be sitting there with the president at a round table and at that signing, only in this country, John, can stuff like that happen, right? That you can go from literally something from picking trash to sitting with the president, at a White House round table and an executive order signing. And that's why I love this country. I love what I do. And this initiative is going to empower and allow folks like myself, who want to have a chance, who are young and want to do something in this country and with hard work and work ethic, do something of themselves and, working not only in education, but with the Department of Labor, the Department of Housing, making sure that, hardworking Hispanics who are, some of the best entrepreneurs out there, really leading the charge with, from a small business perspective, have an opportunity to succeed. So I couldn't be more honored and more proud to be part of this group.
Well, and much deserving, Alfredo. You've done a phenomenal job as President and CEO of the Job Creators Network. I've told you before, you guys are the little engine that just won't quit. You've made a huge impact on America. Basically, we're one of the key people in designing the PPP that has saved many, many companies that are still around today, and their employees still are around as we try to get out of this COVID crisis. And you've been there at the table for the tax cuts. You were the leader in that. You got to think about this economy and these lockdowns. If the economy hadn't been so strong when this happened, where would we be right now? And a big part of that was because of the work you guys did on getting the tax cuts passed, Alfredo.
Well, thank you, John. No, I appreciate it. I mean, obviously, team efforts and, the Trump administration, from day one, he understood what this economy needed, went right in there, cutting regulations, and then the tax cut piece, as you mentioned. If we didn't have those two pieces alone, and remember, Obama was like, you don't have a magic wand. Well, you didn't need a magic wand. You just needed common sense policies that President Trump, as a business person, knew he had to do. Bring down regulations, cut down taxes, and you watch the economy grow. Those manufacturing jobs, as we know, just pre-COVID, we were up like 600,000 manufacturing jobs. I mean, this economy was roaring. If it hadn't been in that position, and you just said that, if it hadn't been in that position, roaring the way it was, we wouldn't have this, this V style kind of economy, economic recovery that we're seeing right now.
Right.
It's just common sense. I mean, that is why we're seeing almost 5 million jobs added, this past jobs report, on top of the 2.5 million, almost 8 million of those. And by the way, of those 8 million jobs that have just been added in the past 2 months, John, 2 million of those, 2.1 million, were actually Hispanics that really benefited from that. So again, just to talk about what President Trump has done, I mean, frankly, this president has done more for Hispanics, quite frankly, I think, than any other president probably has done in recent history. In terms of unemployment rates, we're at record low. Home ownership, we're at record high. I remember when I predicted, John, probably 6 months ago, you almost dropped out of your chair that we would get 38 to 40% of the Hispanic vote.
Yeah, I said you were
Remember
dreaming.
that?
I said you were dreaming.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's going to even be more than 40%.
Well, right now, only good polls I've seen in the past, 90 days, the only good poll was one that came out yesterday saying that Right now, the president is enjoying, right now, if the election were held today, he'd get 39 or 40% of the Hispanic vote, which sent shockwaves through the Democratic Party, because this is obviously an identity interest group that they've relied on. And now the president cutting into that. One of the things that we've talked about in turning this campaign around for the president, we've encouraged him to do two things: action, action, action. We don't want tweets, we want action. You're the president. What are you going to do? And then to lay out the manifesto for the second term. He did that yesterday. Alfredo, at the White House ceremony yesterday that you were at, the president also signed a key executive order that is going to directly benefit the Hispanic community along with opportunity zones. Can you outline what that action is?
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, John, what that executive order really was doing, one, it established this commission, formally. So we're excited about that. So you have 20 Hispanic business leaders that are going to work for that. The chair, for example. Oh, by the way, talking about boycotts, this is so ridiculous, John. So the president of Goya Foods, who is now I think he's a third generation president. So this is a family-owned business, started from literally nothing, a multi-billion-dollar success story. The largest Hispanic company in the country is, the president is chairing this committee. Well, guess what he did? He said, look, we are actually, by the way, we're having food shortage, so we're donating, a couple million cans of this stuff, and we're encouraging others to do this and kind of driving a food bank thing. Well, guess what? They already are boycotting. There's a push to boycott Goya Foods from the left because he is now chairing this committee to encourage and promote Hispanic prosperity.
Sick. Absolutely sick. I mean, what is going on with this country?
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. So when you look at what's happening, imagine that. So one of the most successful Hispanic stories, the left should be celebrating the fact that this third generation CEO is heading up an initiative, putting his resources into this initiative to be able to promote economic prosperity and sit down with the other 19 folks, because there's 20 folks altogether, and then the 5 cabinet members, so there's 25 folks that make up this group. And figure out what we need to do, to promote Hispanic prosperity. If the left really believed in what they believe in, right, they would be honoring this event and this effort. Because, by the way, John, this is a 2-year thing. So even let's say Trump doesn't get reelected, this would go over into the next administration. This is about promoting Hispanic prosperity in this country. As you know, Hispanics overall, one of the most successful entrepreneurial groups. Hispanic women were actually the leading small business entrepreneurial group before COVID.
Right.
Had the lowest unemployment rate. And all of this is what this initiative is going to be doing, the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative from the White House. And again, first of all, I couldn't be prouder, but the other groups, the other folks that were sitting around this table with me, I mean, I have to tell you, I know we are going to make a difference.
Right.
Again, when you go back to me growing up, to think that I was picking trash, right? If it hadn't been for an educator, for example, in the middle of my 5th grade that took interest in me, I wouldn't be here today. So this idea of school choice, for example, right, it is so critical to be able to to keep pushing for this. And of course, the left hates it because it's not about. For the left, it's actually they could give a crap, quite frankly, about the students, right? Mm-hmm. They just want the unions basically, and quite frankly, the administration, that has the overheads. And so we're pushing for school choice on this initiative because we think it's critical for the whole country, not just Hispanics, but something that's very large for the Hispanics. As you know, Ron DeSantis in Florida. When he ran for governor, this was a big part of his platform. It's very important to the Black community as well. And so we're going to keep promoting this because we know that this is important for our children of today. No child should be, quite frankly, categorized into a zip code. We should give them massive opportunity and maximum empowerment to the parents to choose how they want their kids to succeed and where they want their kids to succeed, and that's what we're going to be promoting.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations to you. And equally as important with your leadership is I know you're going to make a difference, and we're going to continue to move the Hispanic community ahead in America, additional prosperity. The president now laying out his manifesto for a second term. I really felt, Alfredo, yesterday, part of it certainly was the Hispanic initiative, but I felt yesterday that we have been calling on the president on my show here with a lot of different surrogates for weeks to get this campaign back on track, lay out an agenda for the second term, and stop some of the nonsense in the campaign that's gone on. I felt like yesterday we were turning the corner. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I mean, unfortunately, the reality is we have COVID in front of us, right? And so a lot of the administration's efforts and times are really going to address this. This idea of keeping schools closed, I mean, this is just such a ridiculous idea. It is having such a negative impact on our children today. I mean, such a negative impact, right? And so we have to charge ahead. But, the left believes that this is a big way of making sure that the president continues to be pummeled by the media by not allowing these schools to be open. Yeah. And the facts just do not support it.
It has nothing to do with facts or science or data. It has everything to do with this election. And I think the president and the Trump campaign and his surrogates and everybody out there has to be very assertive in being able to point this out. And the last thing moms and dads want to do is another semester of their kids not learning anything. It just makes no sense. There's no data that backs it up. It's all politics. Alfredo Ortiz, congratulations on your appointment yesterday, and I'm very, very proud of you. And again, you're going to make a difference, and we're going to turn the corner, and we're going to win this election with people like you in there. I feel a lot better about things to come. So thank you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Alfredo Ortiz, Job Creators Network. Go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com. President, CEO now on the President's Hispanic Prosperity Commission. Thanks for being with us.